We're live. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. So, a little bit late. Final Fantasy XIV was giving me a bit of trouble connecting to the server for a moment, which I hope isn't going to be a problem. I wonder if it's just some lingering after effects of the maintenance that was. Perhaps there was maintenance since I last played anyway. I think it was on Tuesday. My drink's all shaken up. But we're back in Sorin's journey, back in Garlemald, where we have been not quite kidnapped, but it might as well be kidnapping. Alze and Alphino have shock collars on, and if they or if Sorin does anything untoward or suspicious, they both get shocked. Which isn't exactly nice. Let's see what Yultz's task force is. We'll begin our search for Ceruleum and Regio Urbanissima. The first location is Forum Soleus, a park to the northwest of this station. You are to remain close at all times and act only as ordered. Follow me. Right. Soleus. Is that named after the first emperor? Do little one. He doesn't know if he'd care, but I wonder what him itself would think if he saw what's happened to Garlemald. Even if it was a tool, it was something he built, right? This is a park? So, this is the park. I'm surprised they found space for one amongst all these buildings. Actually, the recreational areas came first. The houses were later built around them. A healthy society requires communal spaces for children to play and adults to socialize. The park was named after the founding father of the Empire, the great Solus Zosgalvis. That was part of him itself. It did come to extract ceruleum from the wrecked Magitech armor. No, we've already drained it dry. Same goes for the rest of the machine in the vicinity. But as our ceruleum has been stolen, we must scour the city for every lost drop. And while I don't expect to find anything here, I've decided to try one more time, in case something has been overlooked. I see. And then, with your permission, we'll commence the search. Right. Just any traces of ceruleum, right? Is this like a stall or something? What are the odds they had some ceruleum lying around? They were rather small by Garlean standards, the structure reminiscent of a merchant stall. Perhaps it was built for children to play at shopkeeper. There was nothing inside resembling Magitech or any other device that would be fueled by ceruleum. In here, park? Anything of note here? Several points of interest are marked on the map of Forum Soleus. The pond, children's play areas. To your knowledge, however, none would require the use of ceruleum. seems our best chance is looking for things that are out of place, that don't belong to the park itself. Gillis said he'd checked the armor, but maybe there's still some dregs around? A cursory inspection of direct magic armor confirms that the fuel canisters have long since been drained of ceruleum, as Gillis said. Gillis? Maybe I should leave him be. As they said. I imagine there'd be anything around here, but the contraption is built in the style of Imperial War Machina, armed with a battery of weapons and capable of transforming into different configurations. But on closer inspection, it appears to be no more than a children's slide. There doesn't seem to be any signs of anything. Euless? I'm sorry, but I wasn't able to find anything after all. Oh, it's you. Any luck? Unfortunately not. There's no sign of any ceruleum. Hardly surprising, but disappointing nonetheless. I couldn't help noticing you gazing at the pond. Is something the matter? What? Yes, I mean, no, It's just... I used to bring my brother and sister here to play. The pond was heated to stop it from freezing over, so, like all the other children, they just had to wade in and splash about. Would have stayed there if I hadn't dragged them out. They'd be sobbing wet when all was said and done. Every time. Every time when we'd get home, Mother would scold us, saying we'd catch our death walking around like that. The pond was heated. With a cerulean-powered heater by any chance? I suppose it must have been. Come to think of it, I remember seeing engineers changing out a tank beneath a hatch. But that was a long time ago, when the water still flowed clear and wasn't this brackish muck. We can't see a thing, and I can't remember where the hatch might be. With the machinery most likely broken, the amount of filth in there is probably the only reason it hasn't frozen over. I'd wager it's still unbearably cold, though. Alize? Euless, what are your thoughts on magic? The average Garlean would jump out of their skin if they saw it, but the first is a few foreign Signiferi and Medici, so it doesn't scare me. Then I take it you won't mind if I employ a little now. Alphino, as you have a knack for finding dry wood, why don't you bring me some? Once that's done, a blast of her fire should do the trick. Leave it to me. Alize, care to elaborate? You're not planning to go in there, are you? Of course I am. That tank isn't going to fetch itself. It's nothing so involved as extracting unprocessed ceruleum for a frozen lake like how the tappers do it. We're talking about a shallow pond in a park, and we have a way of warming ourselves up after. But that's insane. So, fancy a dip? Shall we make it another contest? last one to find a cerulean tank is a rotten egg. Oh, I dare say we'll both smell like rotten eggs when this is over. Right. I imagine this'll be chilly. Oh, that is cold. At least it's shallow. Right. Anything here? Oh, nothing here. Oh, that is... What about here? Oh, oh, still nothing. Come on. Still... Where would I put a hatch if I was building a pond? I don't know if I'd put it under the water, to be fair. Oops. Maybe under the rubble? Wait, something! This looks like it. You opened a hatch and retrieve a cerulean tank. However, your grand discovery comes at great personal cost, as you become acutely aware of the freezing cold, and a rancid odour emanating from every ilm of your body. Ulysses will doubtless feel compelled to pinch his nose shut when you deliver to him your prize. Oh, out of the water, out of the water. I should let Alize know she can come out now. Alize? You found it. There must be another one around here somewhere. Alize, I don't... Please be careful. Ulysses? Did you find anything? Hope you did. I don't know how much is in it, but... That's it! And there's still some cerulean left. The fire's still not ready. Hold on. I'll give Alvino a hand. Thank you. Call me an old Dan, because by fire I'm reborn. And my clothes are mostly dry now too. I appreciate you recovering the cerulean, but I wish you'd taken the time to discuss the plan with me beforehand. Despite the way you've been treated, in Lord Quintus's eyes, you're still envoys deserving of protection. If you were to die on my watch, he would be most displeased. Your concern is duly noted, but all's well that ends well. Ulysses, you mentioned coming here with your younger siblings. Did you grow up in Garlemald? I did. Not far from here. My father was an accomplished researcher in his youth, and for his contributions to the Empire awarded an estate. We lived well. Better than many. What was Garlemald like in those days? Everything. It was everything you could imagine, and so much more. Even during the coldest winters, we always found warmth and comfort at home. Coming in from the snow, taking off your coat, sitting down for a hot meal, with family. Visiting friends and relatives, receiving that same welcome, knowing they had everything they needed. Walking down the street, seeing the lights in all the houses, hearing the faint sounds of laughter and song, of happiness. And although the summers came and went all too quickly, in that brief respite, the ice would melt and the forgotten grass would make its triumphant return, Grey clouds gave way to blue skies. Some mornings we'd climb to the top of the tallest buildings we could find to watch the sunrise. Never again. Those rooftops are rubble. Those friends dead. And those memories. If I could reclaim even a fraction of what we once had. Soon. Our chance will come. We just need to hold on a little longer. Thanks. Did start forgetting that they were people as well. Things have been different. Alright, now that you've recovered from your escapades in the pond, there's another location I'd like to search, just outside the park. Right. Guess back to the search. It's functional, but I get the feeling I should stay back. As you can see, this place is littered with remnants of various types of war machinery. While my comrades and I have already recovered the tanks from the less damaged unit, those that took a more severe beating are harder to scavenge. We decided to save those for another time. That time being now. Rather than prise them apart piece by piece, it would be quicker to remove the outer casing using compact explosives. With luck, we'll gain access to the tanks without rupturing them. Though the force generated by these devices is relatively weak, I would advise you stand well clear to avoid being hit by any shrapnel. Before even bothering though, you should check the machinist's ceruleum gauge to see if there's any left. It should still provide an accurate reading even when the unit itself is inactive. If the gauge is broken, I'll let you decide whether to use an explosive or not. Should you need more, come to me. Understood. Let's get to work. Right. This one's empty. No point in using explosives here. How's this one? Tell. Page is broken. Maybe come back to it if I don't find anything else. Another broken gauge. Careful. Some more armor. Some more armor here. Another broken gauge. Another empty one. Doesn't feel like there's much here. Guess it might come down to just gambling on one of the broken gauges. Inside buildings. This one looks relatively more intact than some of the others. Relatively being key here. I'll take a gamble on this one. Completely empty. What about this one? Give me something. Empty again. I think there was one more that... Gillis, you don't happen to have any more... I have a fair amount of explosives to spare today, but tomorrow is another story. We can't afford to waste on units with nothing to offer, so be sure to check the gauge first. There are some here that are definitely empty. There was another one here that... The gauge was just broken, right? This one. Just give me something to use. This is half a tank. That's good, right? I was hoping at this stage just maybe to find some dregs, not a... Ulysses! More explosives? Wait, is that what I think it is? It's half full still. You've done it again. Truly, luck is on your side. There were a few failed attempts. With this, we should be able to refuel quite a few of our heaters. It's time we headed back. Wait here while I go and see how Alizé and Alphino are faring. Right. Guess I'm waiting. I wonder if they managed to find anything.
Finally escaped the watchful gaze of your keepers, have we?
Fingers.
Don't react. You'll only draw attention to yourself. Just carry on as you are and listen.
Right.
After you left with the Garlean lad, Lucia bade a few of us scouts follow you at a discreet distance.
That's what she was implying.
We observed you being led into the station, but decided against venturing inside. When you emerged sometime later, and we saw that the twins were sporting Magitech collars, it was clear what had taken place. Now, as quietly as you can, tell me everything. The Legatus himself, eh? Now there's a surprise. This is also the first I've heard of a plan to join forces with the 10th and storm the Tower of Babel. An interesting development, and perhaps the opportunity we've been waiting for. Our comrades back at the camp also received some rather promising news, but it's still too early to get our hopes up. For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them. With luck, this will all be over soon. Until then.
They had not gone far.
Any more
We
cerulean?
searched high and low, but no luck, I'm afraid. I might have guessed you'd be the only one to find anything.
I'm just glad that we found something.
I wasn't expecting much to begin with. Eventually, there will be nothing left out here for us to safely salvage. For now, this will have to suffice. We should return to the station.
I do wonder about the still active Magitech. Is there no chance we can salvage some of it? If it's functioning, it clearly has
There
ceruleum,
you
right?
are. Heard you'd gone hunting for ceruleum above ground. Brought back a king's ransom?
Hardly. But thanks to these three, we have enough to last a little while longer.
Well, well. It's not at all what I was expecting, these ones. For savages, they seem positively docile.
We are right here.
It's a poor attempt at humor. In all honesty, I'm grateful for your efforts. But even with another night of warmth, there are those among us who may not live to see the morrow.
I trust your expedition was fruitful.
Lord Quintus!
Greet us himself.
Use what you procured to refuel the armor.
Not the heaters?
But, sir, what about the heaters for the camp?
The time for action is upon us.
You...
My men and I have matters to discuss. In the meantime, you are to wait here. Do not forget, you are being watched.
That... Prioritizing the armor over...
The time for action. What did he mean by that?
Do you think the 10th Legion's
I can
really
only
here?
speculate. Clearly something requiring their magitech, given what we just heard. Whether they plan to utilize it now, or after they join with the 10th, is another question. Will they ever escape this cult? Return to and reclaim the idyllic spaces of which Eula spoke?
Would be nice if they could.
Finished your war, Council?
What's going on?
Alphino and Alizé are to stay here as our prisoners. They will be released once your comrades have relinquished their supplies and withdrawn from Garlean soil.
That's...
Until our terms are met, they will be detained at a separate location.
You're...
After everything we've said and done, this is how you treat us.
Our allies have but limited supplies. They may stave off cold and starvation for a short while, but what then?
You... Yes.
For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them.
Trust Vanquish. Alphino. Alizé. I think we just accept this. Things will be alright.
Get them out of here.
So, I guess my job is to deliver your message. Alphino and Alizé will be fine, providing they do not resist. You will accompany me back to your camp, where I will meet with your leader and present Lord Quintus's demands. Before we depart, however, there is something I would ask of you. Assuming your contingent complies, the supplies they surrender will need to be transported here. That task falls to Legionnaires Marcellinus and Octavia, who will pilot Magitech armor to your headquarters. You were to inform them that we are leaving shortly. Tell them to ask the eel for further details. In those words. Once you've seen to that, meet me by the exit. Soldiers who... Excuse me. You again. Ask the eel, he said. That's what he said. So, that's to be the way of it. After all this. How ironic that you should be the one to deliver the news. If those are my orders, then so be it. For the glory of Garlemald. There's something else going on here. Excuse me. What do you want with me? Ask the eel. So Lord Quintus has reached a decision. I knew he would understand. That he would recognize the savage as a ruthless, merciless creature. And to defeat him, we too must be uncompromising. I am ready. In the name of Emperor Varus, for the glory of Garlemald, I will fulfill my duty. Don't like this. You're really bringing Magitech armor just to transport supplies? Which I can do while they have Alphino and Alizé. Eulus, have you done as instructed? This isn't just a supply mission, is it? Duty is rarely a simple thing. We have been given additional orders. Though whether we will be required to follow them depends entirely on your contingent. You and I are to get in this together now. Like it or not, we have to cooperate. There is one other matter. A place I'd like to visit on the way to your camp. It's a short walk from here. Follow me. What's this about? Additional orders depending on how we react. If I had to hazard a guess. If we refuse to give them supplies, they'll have to take them by force. This is time for you. Give me a moment. Please. This is... Euless lingers by the ruins, reluctant to leave, reluctant to stay, unable to move on.
This is my home. Our home.
Yes.
At least it was, until that night. I was with Lord Quintus when the capital fell, and thus spared. My family, who did not own a radio, were less fortunate.
I'm sorry.
When dawn came, I made my way here. My parents, my little brother and sister, they were still inside. But they weren't themselves, and they tried to. And I had to. I'd promised to take them away from the capital that very morning, to somewhere safe, to hide until the fighting stopped. I promised. The Garlean flag bears a chain, the bonds between our countrymen.
That's what it is.
A red link at its center. The blood of the fallen. Our loved ones who lived and died for Garlemald. But if she too fell, who would be left to remember them and their sacrifice? What enduring proof would there be that they were ever here? If we had turned to your gods, would they have saved us? I'm sorry, forget I spoke. We should go.
Right.
It's no use. Believe me, I do not enjoy being here any more than you. But he wanted us to play along, so that is what we will do.
So cold.
Painfully so. Unbearably.
I've been thinking about what Quintus said. About why no one would accept Garlean rule. Irreconcilable differences. When coexistence isn't an option, only conquest remains. Varys at Gimlet said much the same. Only by uniting the world beneath a single standard would we rid ourselves of the Ascians. United as one people, one race cleansed of imperfections, a cold and unforgiving vision. And when we fail to live up to their standards, what place is there for us in their world? But the truly sad, truly frustrating thing is how damnably similar it all is to the lofty ideals of Father and the Forum. Non-intervention. Always Non-intervention. Protect our knowledge and our people, and to hells with the rest of you. And yet, I can see how it happened. Varys and Father looked to their elders for guidance and took their virtues as their own. But for this world was of their making. In who else could they place their trust? All of us lost in a sea of chaos, searching desperately for purpose and meaning. But it shouldn't just be an extension of another's. It has to be ours. It has to be. We all have a stake in this world. No one should be silenced.
I won't deny that we lack the experience of people such as Father or Quintus. Perhaps they've come to see the world as a series of problems, and the most efficient way of solving them, to reduce everything to fundamental forms. A stone is a stone, a cloud, a flower, no more than that. Simple descriptions that strip the subject of distinguishing characteristics. A man is a man, divided according to race, creed, or allegiance, and to some, defined by such associations.
Is that what you think?
In my misbegotten youth. But what I believed wisdom was no more than aggressive ignorance. I've since learned to look beyond the banners and the politics. To see people as individuals with their own hopes and dreams. As for my dream of building a better world, well, every day I'm reminded that it is far more complex than I had ever imagined. But it only spurs me onward, to find the wisdom and the strength to see it through to the very end.
All of our supplies and an immediate withdrawal. These are your conditions?
Demands. And you forgot about the airship. Once again, you will leave one behind. It will be used to return the prisoners. Their collars will be removed prior to the exchange.
So in the end, not even Father's expertly worded rhetoric could deter you from your chosen course.
Huh?
Not that I thought for a moment that it would. I've no love for violence, of course, but ours is a cause worth fighting for. I just wish he'd realize it too. Sometimes the only way to protect the ones you love is to take a stand, to refuse to suffer in silence. I want you to know I share your conviction. Whether it be on the battlefield or in the debating chamber, I won't back down. I guess what I'm saying is...
You've found your own reason to fight.
Yes. Yes, I have. God's willing, there will come a day when we can finally lay down our arms, and there will be peace. But not until the Telophoroi have been defeated once and for all. And you, brother, will have a vital part to play. By your words and deeds, you'll lead the way.
I pray I am up to the task.
There'll always be naysayers. Those who think us fools for even trying. It's easy for learned elites to criticize earnest efforts and assert their moral superiority, all without offering alternatives. Not that their sophistry has ever wounded you. So stubborn and strong. Stronger than you even know. Don't ever change, you hear me? If you stumble, I'll be there to catch you. Or give you a thick ear. Maybe both, for good measure.
Thank you, Alice.
Justinian to the rescue.
The scouts have secured Alizé and Alphino. Their collars were removed without complication as well. They report no casualties, not for their party nor the guards, who will wake from their premature slumber in due course.
It would appear the situation has changed. I propose new terms. We have information that will be of great interest to Lord Quintus, and I wish to speak with him in person.
No. In the event you rejected our first proposal, we came prepared with a second.
Right. Whatever. Magic armor.
Ambush!
More are coming! Make ready!
This isn't good.
We, the loyal soldiers of the First Legion, proud servants of Garlemald, of the fallen Emperor Varys, shall safeguard these lands from the barbarian hordes until our countrymen return!
This is...
Stop, both of you!
Aaron?
This child may be the worst emissary I have ever seen.
We received an urgent communication from the Grand Company of Eorzea. Envoys from the Imperial Army, led by members of the 10th Legion, came to Alamigo and requested an audience.
10th Legion is an Alamigo?
They explained that their efforts to coordinate the reclamation of the capital with the aid of the 4th, 5th, 8th and 12th had ended in failure. Communication between most legions has broken down entirely. Most of the 10th's conscripts have deserted, leaving their forces severely depleted. That is why, unable to continue the fight on their own, they and their allies turned to the Grand Company of Eorzea for aid.
Lies! Every word!
It is the truth, and I have not finished. The 10th has requested that we deliver a message to Lord Quintus. Have the ill stand down.
Ill.
You have been listening, my lord? What are your orders?
Inform her that we will honor the 10th's decision. Bereft of hope, and now dignity. I release you from your duty. All of you. I take solace, your radiance, in the knowledge you are not here to witness our debasement. 'Twas a grand, glorious dream we shared. Of a world united, of peace and prosperity. We are ghosts, you and I, memories of days gone by. Bonds forged in blood that I will not see tarnished.
Quickly! We have to reach the station before it's too late.
If there is still a chance that Quintus will agree to a truce, we must take it.
I just hope we get there before he and his men do something rash.
You lay down, Lizzie. Lucia? Much and more has occurred since last we met. As for determining what comes next, we must speak with Lord Quintus. Right. Before we proceed, tell me what you know of the First Legion and the disposition of their forces. Well, not particularly fond of us, seemed to be the case. They were preparing for war while the refugees in their care were left to go hungry. A reckless, short-sighted plan that risks the welfare of the people they are sworn to protect. Nevertheless, we cannot compel them to accept our aid. If we were to arrive in force with the intent to do so, we would only incite panic. But perhaps they can be persuaded to follow one of their own. Go with Euless back to the station and have him lead the refugees here. Some may be unwilling or unable to leave, but for the time being I'll take what I can get. Alphino, Halazay, and the scouts sent to extricate them should already be at the station. I will also have our other comrades in the area lend their support should it be needed. Understood. Yes. This is for the best, right? Finally, start finding a way forward together. Expect fear of a legion coming to where yours here for aid, though. These things really must be bad. It would be nice if you'd been allowed to attune to the Aephorite. Station. It kind of occurred to me that Garlemald's maybe not quite as cold as Curfus. I'm just given that the weather is rain and not snow. Everyone. Ryonche. It is a comfort to see thee none the worse for thy recent ordeals. Oh, I did not expect you to arrive so soon. There's been a development. But perhaps you had best see for yourself. Is everything alright? Sorin! And Euless. Alice? What's wrong? We arrived just before you did. And too late. Too late for... Too late for what? What's happened? It's Lord Quintus. He took his own life. After the news about the 10th, he relieved us of our duties. Then, when he was alone, he... No, he wouldn't. Bancroft and the others, assisted by the soldiers, have seen to the remains. In due course shall the legatus be afforded a proper burial. He released us from our duty. He wanted us to be free. Free to choose our own fate. Without him to guide us, I have just this moment spoken with Lucia. We are ready to commence the transfer of the refugees here to Camp Broken Claws, should they be willing to accept our aid. Some rather die. Most of us just want to live. Songs and standards be damned. We just want to live. We'll make sure you do. We'll need to speak with the refugees. They'll have to decide for themselves if they wish to come with us. If any would prefer to stay, we can have supplies brought over for them. It'll be a hard journey for the others, but we'll see they reach our camp safely. Step closer. Was accepting our help really that much of a... Where do I start? Excuse me, sir. It was only ever a dream, wasn't it? Think we could reclaim it? Rebuild it all ourselves? Before this all began, I sent my wife and daughter away to the provinces. There's a chance I might see them again. I'll take it. So take me. Take me with you, please. Of course. Sir? Well, got the Ephraite sorted in the end. All it took was a few adjustments, and now it works as well as it ever did. From what I can tell, the one on the term is also functioning as normal. That's where you lot are staying, isn't it? Now that most of us are packing up and leaving this place, I reckon there'll be more use for me and my skills over at your camp. It's working now? Let's to attune to it quickly. Maybe if it had been working before, maybe I could have got here in time. Excuse me. It's you. The one who treated me with such kindness. I heard from the others that you're not from around here. I thought you were one of us. Not that it makes much difference now. Purebloods, migrants, savages. After a while, the words start to lose meaning. All you're left with is anger and fear and hate, and I'm too tired. If you and yours have come to offer aid, I'd be glad to accept. I just wish it hadn't taken what it needed to convince me. Willis? We have much to discuss. Our rescue, the attack on Camp Broken Glass, what we'd hoped to talk about with Quintus. But all of that can wait. More urgent matters demand our attention. Are any of the refugees willing to come to our camp? Everyone I spoke with seems to be in agreement. Think to 12. Think to 12. You and I should go first to secure the route back to Camp Broken Glass. With all these creatures and tempered skulking about, I expect we'll have our hands full. This should come in handy. Conqueror's Chain, courtesy of our laments and friends. I'd save it for the tempered too. Right. I'll mark a few points that need surveying on your map. Once you've taken care of the riffraff, we'll meet back at our camp. Right. Suppose that's the next important thing. Make sure that everyone can get to him safely. The camp safely. It's not much of a rescue if you let people die on the way. The slasher is not a threat. Go back to the route that Euless took us along. I imagine that's the route we'll be taking. Following the track to the station and then a path from the station to the term they call it, right? Anyone around here? That's wildlife. It seems aggressive. Not tempered, but still. An angry deer can probably do a lot of damage to a Already ill civilian. Anyone hiding in the shadows of the train? Nope. Imperial. Secure him. Someone will be along soon enough. He didn't seem to have any physical symptoms of tempering, so hopefully he can still be saved. Hiding at the station, covered in the usual wildlife. Seems safe here. This looks like the last stretch. Soldier. He's close to the camp. Should be easy to get him to safety. Sorry about this. Be okay soon enough. Banquet? Ah, there you are. As expected, I ran into a few beasts who went down without much of a fight. The temper proved somewhat troublesome, but I was changed to keep them under control until our allies take them into custody. With that taken care of, time to gather a few supplies and then return to the station. While I see to that, would you mind apprising Lucia of our progress? As it happens, I have some rather pertinent information from our recent scouting frays, but I'll save that for later. First things first and all that. Right. It's not all good news, but at least some people are accepting our help. Lucia? Ah, Sorin. I was informed of Quintus's suicide. It must have come as a great shock to his men. What of the refugees? I'm told some were receptive to our proposal, but I would hear your first-hand account. Right. Everyone I spoke to there seemed to... Feels a little bit like they've resignation, but they're willing to accept help. That so many did not hesitate to accept proves how desperate their situation has become. We'll do our best to make them feel welcome. The troops who participated in the ambush are no exception. They will be afforded the same treatment as any other refugees, perfectly notwithstanding. After all, even if I wanted to make an example of them, there's no one left to learn from it. We will tell our allies that these soldiers were acting under the direct orders of their legatus, and that following his suicide they offered a full and unconditional surrender. Perhaps Quintus thought that had he lived, he would be tried as a war criminal, and his men punished with him. Perhaps, by taking his own life, he hoped to absolve him of any culpability. Or perhaps, like too many others, he was a true believer to the end. Who can say? I didn't know the man, or his heart. His reasons, noble or otherwise, died with him. And it falls to us to clean up the mess. Oh, hello, Mooney. Welcome to the stream. And no worries, you've missed... I suppose you've missed a fair bit of things going on, but... we're still going. I assume you're curious about how matters have progressed here in your absence. Quite well, as it happens. Now that we've procured ceruleum from Tabor's Den, the recently repaired heaters can provide much-needed warmth. You're reminded what musical talent Sawano Hiroyuki? Oh, yeah. What particular... is there... I'm assuming there's a particular... something particular that's brought this up? Oh, just been listening to his music for a while? Yeah. Furthermore, we've prepared sufficient food for everyone. Those from Tertium shall find a hot meal waiting upon their arrival. There's one for you, so go ahead and get some well-earned rest. I believe that we're capable of wielding a ladle or two without your assistance. On your way, might I ask you to seek out Y'shtola? She was but recently attending to the wounded, but she's meant to be taking a rest herself. See that she is. Of course. I wonder if she's feeling any better. Y'shtola? Yes. I've been taking proper breaks and imbibing sufficient water. But what of the Warrior of Light? You and the twins have an established history of reckless disregard for your own well-being. We're all fortunate that none of you landed yourselves in my care. I've already quite enough to deal with, between the tempered and the first wounded. Alas, though I can mend their bodies, the toll their experiences have taken on their hearts and minds is another matter altogether. For their sakes, we mustn't waver, but nor must we rush ahead in eagerness to see the day won, and in so doing invite disaster. Upon settling down for supper, several cutscenes will play in sequence. Oh boy. We love several cutscenes playing in sequence. I need to remember to pick up some antihistamines this weekend. I feel it's getting into hay fever season for me. I mean, there's an in-law reason for people to breed chocobos. Yeah, well, I think if you actually read the mount description for chocobos as well, like there are like different breeds of chocobo. Yeah, kind of like dogs, or I suppose horses would be the more accurate comparison.
Is that all of them?
The last of those who agreed to join us, yes.
We left heaters and provisions for those who wish to stay behind. They won't last forever, but hopefully they'll last long enough.
For now, I think everyone's earned a rest. We'll see to those in need of medical attention, so take the others with you and get yourselves some hot soup.
Oh. That's a nice little thing, just of... I can never remember his name, but the Dragoon mentor, like, kind of taking a moment to catch up with Justinian.
Warmth. At last.
Marvelous, isn't it? All thanks to the resourceful machinists of Ishgard, I might add. On their behalf, I bid you warm yourself to your heart's content.
Hold on. Your people might have scribbled a few things on a piece of parchment, but it was our Leminson Smiths that put the bloody things together.
Well, be that as it may, we single-handedly got the interior heating up and running again, didn't we?
The hells you did! We were there every step of the way.
We? You barely raised a finger to help, you ale-sodden reprobate.
I did a damn sight more than you, you lily-livered bilge rat.
Take that back!
Make me.
I will not stoop to your level.
Here.
Oh.
At ease, man. There's nothing funny in it.
I don't know if it processed with me the first time I saw this cutscene, but it's a member of the Alamegan Resistance offering the drink to Ulysses. One of the people who definitely was affected by the Empire.
I'm from Alamigo, but was a conscript until recently. Used to eat this with the officers.
Apparently, it's adapted from a steppe recipe. This is my first time trying it, and I have to say, it's not half bad.
It's a bit too flavorful for my liking.
Perhaps compared to what you're used to.
It's the little things that make life worth living, don't you think?
I know this is not a dream, and yet...
See ya. Maxima. Make Garlemald greeting.
I felt the same way at the Dragon Song War's end. Every morning I would step outside and need to be reminded that it wasn't my imagination, that my world had been forever changed. And just as I had grown accustomed to the idea, again you change my world in ways I never thought possible.
I'm just doing what I can.
Were it not for you and your fellow scions, the rifts between man and dragon and myriad tribes might never have been bridged. The Grand Company of Eorzea, the Illsabard Contingent. We owe it all to you. We've shed many tears in recent days, of pain and sorrow, triumph and joy. I much prefer the latter.
I think we all do.
I'm honored to fight by your side. As an Eorzean and Garlean both, I shall do all in my power to bring my peoples together.
It is a remarkable achievement. Everything that I and the Populares had hoped for, and more.
Would that it had come sooner.
Indeed. Too many are not here to see it. And yet, there is a warmth in my breast, as if they still share in this moment.
Yes, I know what you mean. On a night like tonight, the wind and cold seem to pass me by.
Something I'm like in retrospect about the Reaper glam I put together for Sorin. Weirdest. That's another. The talismans are activated. That's.
On behalf of the Garlean Empire, thank you for inviting me today.
What? Emperor Varys?
They are being tempered. The talismans! Quickly!
No.
Save me, brave hero! Ahem. My lord has requested your presence, and I would
Daniel.
hate to disappoint him.
How long have you? So I was saying something I appreciate about. I'm realizing about the glam.
The experiment was a success, but I fear our time is short.
While I remember this font, but the fact that the torso like kind of matches a lot with like the torso that Maxima has and that several members of the Resistance have, kind of helps me feel a little bit like Sorin's part of this group. Where?
I shall begin the preparations.
Now, it is time for you to awaken.
Huh? Xenos.
Good morrow to you. Here, have a taste before it gets cold.
What is...
Oh, but be sure to remove your helmet. Take a moment, too, to familiarize yourself with that borrowed flesh.
Wait, this is... What?
So, how does it feel? I, for one, find those first moments within a new body to be most refreshing.
What did you do?
We had a Magitech engineer by the name of Aulus to thank for this method of soul extraction and implantation. I believe the two of you met briefly in Alamigo,
Him.
His was a rather sticky end, wasn't it? Thankfully, he was thoughtful enough to leave behind his mind-jack technology. I took the liberty of making some improvements and selecting you as my esteemed test subject.
Why? This is such... Where's my own body?
And permit you to go on a righteous rampage instead of partaking in this delicious meal? I think not. I must say, I have gone to great lengths to reunite you with my lord. When I discovered that his friend was in this neck of the woods, I suggested inviting you over for dinner. He never deigned to respond, but I took his silence as a resounding yes.
What is that?
Oh my! Daddy is pleased his grumpy little boy has finally found his playmate.
Horse? He really is?
Exposition is in order. The Garlean Empire has long outlawed all forms of religion. No gods to worship, no risk of summoning. Brilliantly simple. But people being people must turn to something or someone in their hour of need. Who then?
You don't mean to...
Why, His Radiance the Emperor, of course.
Are you... You made him into a primal?
As you have observed firsthand, Garlemald has seen better days. The legendary Solus Galvus, dead. Provinces near and far in open rebellion. Our bold new emperor assassinated. And that last one even sparked a civil war. What rotten luck. The people cried out for salvation. Their earnest pleas, one might even call them prayers, a supplication united for the Empire to reclaim her former glory. And so their will did manifest, channeled through the corpse of none other than Emperor Varus himself. And lo, the Savior was born, the embodiment of the Garlean spirit, their anima. It calls to its subjects, compelling them to take up arms and fight. And just as the wealth and power gravitate towards the Empire's capital, so too does ether from every corner of the globe.
The towers. They were gathering the ether for summoning?
The towers with which you and your allies have been so preoccupied were created as an extension of Anima itself. An ingenious design.
Then...
Would you not agree, my lord?
Does the pursuit of prey you have bested before excite you? Of course not. Absent the challenge, the thrill, your prize is a hollow victory. Butchery.
What are you trying to say?
Perhaps you think that to be the extent of my promise. I have no doubt fallen in your estimation since Alamigo. Fair enough. But do not let your disdain deprive us, of an opportunity to craft an even more majestic moment of euphoria. I have been honing my craft as I set the stage for our reunion. Wheresoever there is suffering and despair, you appear to fulfill your duty as defender of this star.
You're not...
The chaos and destruction that my hordes have wrought are my gifts to you alone.
All of this is just... all of it... You...
At a loss for words? No matter. As you will learn, I have only just begun.
Oh, will you not finish your meal?
There is only one thing that can sate my hunger, and it would seem my friend has lost his appetite. I hoped this display of civility might prove an entertaining diversion, but clearly we are above such pretensions. While my lifeless body was in the possession of the Ascian, I too claimed another's as my own. It was an enlightening experience to fight in an unfamiliar form. Flaws and failings in my technique were plain to see. Whence rises one's true strength? The flesh? The soul? Perhaps you should like to discover the answer for yourself.
Wait, that's... me?
Or together.
What? No. Where does he... why?
Oh dear! Whatever would happen if my lord were to greet your friends as you? I shudder to imagine what carnage he would wreak.
No.
We'd better hurry if we want to avert the bloodbath. You can thank me later for my generosity.
I would... why are we... what? Garlemald.
Ah, there it is. Your camp, I believe. If I were to hazard a guess, I would say that you, the other you, is making his way there as we speak.
I have to stop him.
Alas, this you will have to walk from here. Or run, if you can manage it. My lord would be cross if I made it too easy. Such ingratitude. I'd not squander this fighting chance. After all, you've obstacles enough to overcome. Right on cue. tempered soldiers, with standing orders to kill those not sworn to anima. Under normal circumstances, you would make short work of them. But on this occasion, the odds are not so heavily stacked in your favor.
What do you mean? Doesn't matter. I have to make it back to the camp. In the upcoming battle, you can play. Oh, I forgot there's a time limit. What do I have? Combo, damage buff, ramp. Too much that way. Try to familiarize yourself with that new body. It does suggest a little fight to the death. This is... I feel slow. Ow!
Not bad at all, given your diminished capacity. Nevertheless, 'twould perhaps be prudent to keep to the shadows, scurrying about like a rodent.
You... Oh yeah, I think I remember you telling me that. But it... I'm sorry. Were you in possession of your own body, you may have had the capacity to subdue rather than slay this tempered soldier. In this battle, you're unable to use the full extent of your powers. To reach Camp Broken Glass quickly, you should avoid combat whenever possible. If you're discovered, your foes will give chase. The Magitech units are especially powerful, and your chances of defeating them in your current state are slim at best. Sorry. I have to make it back to camp. In here. Some more. Some medicine. Oh, no, I'll go that way. Which way? Doesn't work. Wait fighting if I can. Medical kit. Is this... Reap? It's damaged. Is it functional? I'm trying to fuel and... key. Look. Ah. Not good. Before the fight, not now. Get back to camp. Not what I need. Anything? That's good. Not so good. Nope, I'll get enough. Like two at the same time. Not like this. Anything. No. Wait. So many of them. A wrecked Reaper. Let's have something I can use. Fuel tank. I can just get this to... Gotta have a Reaper. Cool. Can you outrun them, or do they follow you endlessly? That's not good. Oh, crap, I forget if you're attacked. Oh, you... Okay, you at least drop it at the same at the location. You don't have to do it before, take it the whole way. Right. Just get this to the Reaper, and I just need to find a key card. Come on. What the? There's someone... Hello? Are you okay? You've not been turned. Thank goodness. Thought I was the only one left. Bastards got my hand when he took down my Magic Reaper. If you can repair its leg, though, it should still work. Here, take this key. If I'd used my hand, I might have stood a chance out there. Please, send help if you can. I'll do what I can. It's damaged, but it's better than being on foot. Right. Proactive. Can't move, but the weapons work. What more? Just gotta clear the road. Not good. Right. That's half cleared. That was no good. What's going on here? I have to help. Let's go. Russian, I wonder? Ow! Be careful. Got medicine of their own. That's good. Oh. Ow. All right. Surrounded. Oh, careful. Ow! This is... Be careful. Ow! Good. Come on, everyone. There's too many of them. Oh, no. Unable to escape the blast, you begin to lose consciousness. Ah! Why are some of the shortcut keys still shortcut keys? Still alive. Sorry, everyone. Still one of the others. Just nearly outside the city. Shouldn't be any more Magitech this far. Come on. It's a shame you can't save them.
It is a miracle we were able to restrain the Tempered without suffering casualties.
A welcome one. Arun, Senna and the others have their hands full as it is. Thankfully, there are enough scales for everyone.
And what of Eulus? His symptoms were particularly severe.
They were, but others fared still worse, including some brought back from the Magna Glacius. As those in most desperate need take priority, it may be a while before he receives treatment. But rest assured that he will. In the meantime, we must find our missing friend. May the Fury guide you.
Yeah, what you were saying earlier, Minnie, about a day in the life of Xenos.
Of all the bloody times for a disappearing act.
Just reminded, I still would, if there, I'd still be interested to see like a spin-off, like Dishonored style game of Xenos, like playing as Xenos making his way back to Garlemald from Alamigo.
Right when the first wave struck. We'd be fools to think it a coincidence. But where even to begin the search? No one saw him leave in the chaos, and we've no trail to follow.
While I know full well he can handle himself, I worry all the same.
The ear twitch.
Ah, speak of the devil.
Is there?
Well, time to call off the search.
I kind of wonder if "speak of the devil" would be a phrase in Eorzea.
Case closed.
Still not.
That's him. Over there.
Aye, 'twould appear so. Thou art struggling to perceive his presence?
I am. Perhaps, in the aftermath of the wave, there is some residual effect interfering with my faculties. But...
Where have you been? We've been worried sick.
Now. All's well that ends well. Are you all right?
Are you all right?
It's weird seeing that expression on Sorin.
Who are you?
An avatar. They made it. Get away from them.
Sadly, that is all we have time for today. The effect has run its course, and back to your own bodies you must go. But where are my manners? You have all traveled so very far, and I have yet to pay my respects. Though in my defense, I was ill-prepared to receive so many uninvited guests. As such, preliminary entertainments were in order. A handful of tempered soldiers to hamper your progress. Refugees to command your attention while I siphon the ceruleum from the shadows. Particularly effective, that. Charitable souls that you are, you bent over backwards to aid them. Heedless of the delay. Predictable to a fault. And so my plan approaches completion unhindered. Anima will soon have absorbed the requisite amount of ether. And then shall come the spectacle to end all spectacles. The eldest and most powerful of primals will awaken, and all shall bear witness to the final days!
How long was I? Xeno... He's still...
The gods themselves will be my meal. Your dear companions my dessert. Upon this world I'll feast, and death shall follow in my wake. All your hate,
all your rage, you will render unto me.
For upon thy life's reel wind too many threads of fate, power, wheel enmeshed with woe. More terrible still is the attrition wrought upon thy companions, as they are swept up in the storm of thine existence. Take heart and protect them well. They will be your strength and your salvation.
Thank goodness. He's awake.
Everyone? Am I... You're all okay? You are all okay, right?
Perfectly fine, yes. I hope the same can be said of you.
I'm back.
Everything in working order?
I think so.
That's a relief. Oh, and before I forget, thanks for coming to our rescue.
Of course.
Given recent events, I would be surprised if you weren't feeling a bit poorly. A hearty meal and a long rest would be my recommendation under normal circumstances, but these are anything but. If Van Daniel's boasts are to be believed, we must act quickly. Once you've blown away the cobwebs, we can discuss preparations for our assault on the Tower of Babel.
Right. There's no time. You're certain you're well? Nothing out of place? No missing bits? Good. I won't promise the same for Van Daniel and Xenos after I'm through with them. How much must these people suffer before they're satisfied? How many cruel, pointless tricks must they play? Prelude to the final days or no? This ends now. This reminds me. Yeah. Especially when you consider that like, Van Daniel probably isn't one of... Like, Van Daniel wasn't one of the ringleaders. So his understanding of that is probably, like, pales in comparison to Emmett Selk and La Habrea. I'd say Elidibus as well, but I don't know if Elidibus took as much of an active role into rejoinings. But even then, Elidibus orchestrated the whole Warrior of Light thing into first. He's basically the grunt for the Unsundered. But yeah, I wouldn't call him a grunt. He's still, I feel, he still would have been an important member because he's still a member of the Convocation. Like he's still one of the Red Masked Dacians. Yeah, I think for today, that's going to be it. I've got some other stuff to look at today. But I do like that instance. It's kind of just, yeah, what it's not like they said the Unsundered basically told the others. Yeah. Like there's definitely a hierarchy. The Unsundered were definitely at the top of the pyramid. I think the way I imagine a little bit, if there was like one of those like org charts for the Ascians. I imagine Elidibus was probably at the top. Because from what I understand, his role is kind of almost to supervise the Ascians. And then Emmett Selk and La Habrea kind of led the focus on arranging rejoinings. Then I imagine the other members of the convocation were beneath them. And then you have all the other legions of the Black Masked Ascians who do not often show up anymore. I think the most you see of the Black Masked Ascians is if you do the... Is it the Heavens? Is it the Heavensward Summoner? I think it's the Heavensward Summoner quests, where you fight kind of a smaller sect of Ascians. That is going to be me for today. I feel this is... I just feel this is a good place to end off, because I do feel as well there's... On top of the dungeon, there's a lot of cutscenes. Kind of about to hit us one after another. But yeah, I'll be back for the Tower of Babel tomorrow. So, yeah. Until then, thank you so much for coming along. I really hope you enjoyed. And until next time I see you, have a good evening, have a good night. Or actually, why am I saying that? It's not really night yet. Yeah. Have a good day, wherever you are, whatever time it is. And I will see you around. Bye-bye.